Okay, hello everyone. My name is Arjun Ravindran. I am the Math 6-8 coordinator. And if you are watching this video, let me welcome you to Team KCPS. This video will outline how to access the Math 6 through 8 curriculum, as well as how to access some of the online platforms. So the first thing you're going to do to access our curriculum documents is to navigate to kcpublicschools.org, which is going to be um, our staff website, our website. So you'll just tap on staff up here on the top left. From there, you're going to go ahead and log in using your district provided credentials. And from here, you're going to have a lot of different things. We're going to click on Teachers Lounge, but before we do that, just a few quick links that I'd like to highlight for you. Alio Employee Portal. This is going to be where you can look at your pay stubs and any leaves. Clever is going to be our single sign-on. More on that later. Infinite Campus is going to be where you take attendance, as well as maintain your gradebook. Frontline Education is going to be where you sign up for optional PD sessions. Outlook Web is, of course, is just your email, super important. And finally, Incident IQ is where you're going to log any needed supports, whether it is an online issue, a physical issue in your classroom, like say the blinds are broken or um, it's very warm in your room, any number of things. You're just going to put it in an Incident IQ ticket. So super important that you know about those websites. But anyway, since this is about the curriculum, I'm going to go ahead and take you there. We're going to tap on Teachers Lounge. From Teachers Lounge, we're going to go to Secondary Curriculum. So Math 6, 7, and 8 can be accessed through the KCPS Secondary Curriculum webpage. If you teach just 6th grade at an elementary school, you can also tap on the elementary curriculum page to grab all the elementary curriculum if you are not departmentalized. So back over here to the KCPS Secondary Curriculum page, we're going to click on Math and then Middle School Math. So if I taught multiple subjects, I would just go ahead and bookmark this page by just grabbing the little icon here next to the website and just grab it into and place it into your bookmarks. As you can see, it's right there because I go to this website a lot. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is going to be called the Math 6-8 Playbook. Now, the Math 6-8 Playbook is a one-stop shop for information regarding the curriculum, teaching strategies, the grading policy, and much, much more. So we're going to open this document. I will say that this document is about 30 to 40 pages long. It's too long for us to look at the whole thing in this quick video, but I want to highlight just a couple things. The first thing I'm going to highlight is going to be the curriculum resources, item 5. Then I'm going to talk to you about district grading policy, just going to show you what that looks like. I'm also going to talk to you about required assessments. Okay, so first into the curriculum resources. So you click on the bookmark and then it should take you right here. There are two types of curriculum documents that we have for math grades 6 through 8. We have our scope and sequence and we have our quarterly maps. So the scope and sequence gives us all the standards, all the pacing, and all the assessments for the entire school year. The quarterly maps are much more detailed for a specific quarter. There are 4 quarters in the school year, so there are 4 quarterly maps for each grade level. This is Math 6, and you're going to see our scope, sequence, pacing document at top, and then the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 map. Here's Math 7, and here's Math 8. So we'll start with just, it doesn't matter which one you teach because they're all basically the same as far as structure goes. I'm going to take a look at the Math 6 scope and sequence. So this document is not only linked in the playbook, but it's also just conveniently linked right down here. And then you can access the quarterly links from there as well. So just because, it's in the middle, I'm going to click on the 7th grade Math 7 scope and sequence. Okay. This document, like I said, is the year at a glance. So I'm just going to go line by line to identify key features. So the first thing in this top row is going to be the quarterly maps. Each one of these takes us to an individual document that you'll use for the date ranges specified. So if it's October 21st to January 10th, I'm going to be really living on the Math 7 Quarter 2 curriculum map if I teach 7th grade. On the next line down, we're going to see the units. You can see that they are in fact not in order. The units refer to Reveal Math, which is a McGraw-Hill curriculum product that we use to teach our math class. And you can see that in quarter 2, for instance, we're going to go from module 1 to module 2 to module 5. The approximate pacing is right below that as far as when you should be teaching this content. The essential question, and then the standards. So you can see these are all the standards we're going to teach in the whole school year, and you'll notice that some of them are highlighted in yellow. Those highlighted standards are called priority standards. If you click on any of these, you're going to get the item specification. So it really breaks down the standard, it gives a sample stem, and it really gives a full explanation of what the standard is. You'll notice that this one is not a priority standard because it is not highlighted. That was RPA 1, but if I go to RPA 2, it is highlighted, and you'll see right here it will say priority standard, which means this is something we really need to make sure every one of our students not only is exposed to, but masters. So those are the standards. Scrolling down to the bottom, you'll see our module tests. So it might look like a lot, but in fact, this is just one test. The orange link is the teacher edition key. The purple link is the student edition, and the red link is if there's unprintable items. So for instance, in module 10, if I click on the student edition, you'll see that this is not a printable item. So a teacher would need to go to the unprintable items document in which I just screenshotted the item, and there it is. And so now we can see that. You can zoom up on it, of course, so you can actually get a much closer look at it. Anyway, so that's why there are 3 links there for a given assessment. So that's the assessments that we'll give at the beginning and at the end of each module. More on that later. Finally, you'll see down here the same color scheme, and this is describing the end of the quarter test. So at the end of each quarter, our students take a post-test covering the entirety of the quarter. Each one of these module assessments has 5 questions. Each one of these quarterly assessments has 12 questions. The assessment windows are down here. You'll see iReady as well as quarterly testing. More on that in just a little bit. Okay, so this is the year at a glance. Now let's get into an individual quarterly document. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Math 7 quarter 1 map. However, they are all structured the same. So I'll click on Math 7 quarter 1. Okay, so while this is loading, just to preface it, there are really 2 parts to each map. There's the top part, which doesn't really change, and then the bottom part, which is going to be for each unit, the green part, versus this blue heading. So in the blue heading, we're going to see the units of study up here, a brief explanation of what students will do, how they'll solve. Right here, we'll see those module assessments that were linked on the scope and sequence. We'll see the iReady diagnostic window, if applicable. We'll see the quarterly summative exam. The window is there, as well as the links to the test. These resources don't really change too much, except for the MoLeap blocks. Highly encourage you to explore those, as they're good activators for a unit. Okay, so scrolling down, you'll see the green banner. The green banner does not change. On the left-hand side, we're going to see the standards and the essential question, then vocabulary, the approximate pacing, as in how long should it take to teach this content, the module, the goals, reveal math, lesson examples, and workbook problems, and then some suggested materials. You can continue to read to see more information here. So skipping module 0, which is like classroom culture and community building, we'll take a look at module 10. This is the first unit of study in Math 7. It goes from August 26th to September 13th. These are the lessons. Lesson 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, all the way to 10.5, all the way to 10.6. This is the pacing that each lesson should take. These are the I can statements. So in lesson 10.1, a student should be able to solve problems that classify the likelihood of simple events. The teacher only needs to go through example 1, and then the practice problems are on these pages here. Over here, you're going to see some suggested supplemental materials. So our primary resource is going to be Reveal Math, and our supplemental resources are over here in this large column in the middle. Here is going to be where you find the pre-test and post-test links. So you will copy this link at the beginning of the unit. It's 5 questions. Students have 20 minutes to give that assessment. Then at the end of the unit, after you taught lesson 10.6, you'll give this test right here. It's the same test. Students have 20 minutes for the pre-test and 45 minutes maximum for the post-test. So that's a broad strokes, how do you use this curriculum? So we'll take a look back at the playbook now. I'm going to go back to the table of contents using the bookmark at the bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on the district grading policy, just so that you're aware of it. It's very important that you review this document. It really depends on which school site you're at, if you're at an elementary site or a middle school site. So please make sure you review the district grading policy. Back to the top of the document. This time I'm going to go to the required assessments. So the required assessments will be given via Illuminate. Those are the module unit tests, which is what I said just a second ago. 20 minutes for the pre-test, 45 minutes for the post-test. Those are the links that are in the curriculum map. There's also the quarterly tests. Those links will be issued closer to the assessment. We also give iReady, which we'll talk more about when we get to Clever. There's also MAP and EOC testing. So please be sure to review our required assessments. Okay, so I've mentioned Clever a few times, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what Clever looks like, because Clever is going to be our single sign-on. So my login to Clever is going to be a little different than yours, so don't do this part. You'll just hit login as teacher or staff and then log in with your district credentials. Mine's just going to be a little different. So I'm going to log in as a teacher who teaches 7th grade math. So this is one of our 7th grade teachers. This is what Clever looks like for her. So she teaches math at Lincoln Middle. She's great. She's an awesome person. And you can see that she's already hearted or hit the heart here to turn things on for to make sure they show up in her favorites, right? This is our science resource. You'll notice she did not hit the heart here. She's not a science teacher, but of course she could. So it would show up here. Okay, so there's a lot here, and I don't want to overwhelm anybody, so we'll just start with the basics. We'll just focus on McGraw-Hill and iReady. So she's a 7th grade teacher, so she's going to be using McGraw-Hill Math, Reveal Math specifically. When I click on her red McGraw-Hill icon, the first thing it's going to take me to is, so I can click into one of these classes. And going back to the quarterly map, you'll see that the first lesson is 10.1, Find Likelihoods. So we can go to Browse this course, go to Module 10, and then press Module and 10.1. So each student gets a workbook that they should use in conjunction with the online presentation. And if you go to the curriculum map, it says Find Likelihoods. It's only example 1. So if we go back to lesson 1, we go to Explore and Develop, we can scroll down and find example 1 right here. You'll lead your students through, classify likelihoods example 1, and then they'll have a check problem in their workbook. So example 1 is in their workbook and the check problem is in their workbook. There's a whole lot more on how to use this software, but in basics, that's pretty much it. Okay, taking a look now at iReady. We can click on iReady here. This is another one of our instructional tools. This is a secondary instructional tool. And you can assign lessons by going to Assess and Teach, Instruction, Personalized Instruction, and now you just need to find the right topic. Well, I know that first unit is about probability, and here's a great topic on understand probability. Hit the check mark and press assign lessons. Then you can assign it to either your classes or individual students. If you're going to do multiple languages, so some students are getting English, some students are getting Spanish, you'll need to do it twice and use the students feature. So iReady is going to be our universal screener. Our students take their diagnostic test on iReady 3 times a year, and then they will hopefully show growth. So right now we're in the middle of diagnostic testing, and so you can see this is how Miss Hefner's students are doing. Okay, so I would leave you with this. Perhaps the most important thing you're going to get out of this video is my contact information. Please contact me by typing in my name into Outlook or by emailing me at aravindr@kcpublicschools.org. You can also just tap this link in the Math CIPD playbook because I will be happy to support you in your onboarding and your journey with KCPS. Thank you so much for being on the team, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please reach out to me so that I can begin my support of you. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.